What's going on, guys? It is Brett Owens and Coach James with TruCapacity Talks, or chats. We're gonna talk today about how weight loss does not mean health. So, I guess James, if you want to kind of cover what you think or why you think we're talking about this today, and why it's important that we address it.
Yeah, the number on the scale is a data point, right? But it's not your value to the world. The number on the scale is also not your ability to be healthy, right? And the reason I say this, and I think people get it really twisted, is that the number on the scale includes the food that's in your digestive system, right? It includes all of your fat tissue, it includes all of your bone, it includes your brain, and it also includes your lean skeletal mass. So I might argue that the weight that's on the scale isn't something that you necessarily want to go to zero. You don't want
Right.
that to go so negative that it impacts the rest of your life. And I think that we decided to talk about this today because so many people have a fixation on being smaller and lighter and equate those two things with health. Some of that is programming, right? Culturally. Others of that is just, the other side of that is just people being unwilling to unlearn and rewire new connections to what health actually is from advancements that we've had, right? For a long time, there was no one that contested the doctors that said, hey, being lighter and being a smaller size is optimal for where you want to go. There was no data to contest that, and there was not the internet to easily find it if you're not a doctor yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now we're in a position where that narrative for individuals that are in their 40s, 50s, and 60s has been propagated into their head their whole life, right? So it's hard to break. But we have an opportunity to look at a different definition of health. And in my mind, I think we need to, because I don't think that smaller is healthier. And I don't think that weighing less is healthier by itself. Now, there's obvious exceptions here. If your BMI is over 30 and you don't lift weights 5 times a week, right? We may have a problem.
Mm-hmm.
If you're 5'6", female or male, and you're in a 2 to 3x or larger, we probably have a problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like a body fat problem.
Yeah.
That's not going to set you up. But the difference between 140 and 128 as a 45-year-old woman that's in good health, that gets ample protein, works out 3 times a week, and walks every day over 8,000 steps. It's not really what you think it is, right? That
Yeah.
12 pounds could be the difference between you being capable enough to stop yourself from falling, or capable enough to not roll your ankle, or capable enough to lift a bag over your head on the plane, versus just being, 3 sizes down and being skinnier, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, speaking of just being capable, it kind of one thing that comes to my head a lot is there's a video on the internet that you may have seen where there's a woman, she's like putting her groceries away in her car, and she's got a baby in a stroller, and the stroller starts rolling towards the highway, and she goes to run after it, and she falls, like she falls because she can't get to it, and then somebody of course comes in and like grabs the stroller before it gets into the road. But just thinking about like being capable, it's like a lot of people, they don't really take that kind of stuff seriously until it's too late, until you're in a situation like that, and then you realize, holy shit, I don't know if I would be able to get to it. Or they like to think like, oh yeah, I'd be fine. But then when the action actually comes, they can't do it. And that could be a million different things. But I mean, it's um, picking up a kettlebell every day could make it easier for you to pick up your granddaughter and play with her, or doing lunges every day can help you go from sitting on the floor with your kids to easily, or grandkids, to easily just standing back up and running around with them and stuff. So I mean, to me, it's not, health isn't so much about weight loss. It's just more about, like you said, it's more about being capable of doing these things. And you're gonna, a lot of that stuff comes with lifting, heavy weight or just lifting weight in general, or even if it's just body weight, just moving yourself around and putting some kind of resistance or challenge between you and the person you want to be. And, you know, it helps with those kinds of things. So I hope that didn't get too off subject, but it does that's the first thing that kind of comes to my mind is like, what are you going to do when you're in a situation like that? Are you going to be able to save your kid or not? You know, if it's that extreme.
Yeah, and if you want to walk it back to a less extreme scenario,
Right.
how about how about being in a position where you trip? Can you stop
Mm.
yourself? I know plenty of grown ass adults that don't prioritize health and wellness. That when they roll their ankle, they break something, right? When they step a little bit too far outside, they fall, and they don't fall and break their fall with any muscle or spreading themselves out. They fall on their face.
Hmm.
Now, could that be equilibrium issues and have nothing to do with muscle mass? Correct. It could be there. But if you figure out that that's solved, right, where you clear your sinuses and your eustachian tubes are good to go, right, and upper cervical, you don't have any problems, well, then the only other place that you're going to look is your capability in your joints, your ligaments, your tendons, and your muscles. That's the only other place that you're going to look, right? Once you figure out that kind of stuff. So to me, I think that there's just an over dependence on faux confidence, on
Hmm.
fake confidence,
Hmm.
that in the moment I'll be able to handle it. You see the same thing with men when it comes to physically defending somebody or themselves or
I
thinking that
was
they
gonna
can
say
fight
that.
or what have you. Like it's the same thing,
Yeah.
right? Dude's like, nah, bro, I lift weights so like I could take them. Um, Let me tell you something about people that do jujitsu, that wrestle, that do mixed martial arts, that strike on a consistent basis. You can't take them outside of a fluke. You random catch someone, you can't. I don't care who you think you are. I don't care if you play semi-professional baseball, professional basketball, professional football, professional ultimate frisbee, whatever the hell you're doing. You cannot just think that because you're athletic, you can do XYZ. So the same thing applies here. You got to be very intentional, right?
Yeah.
You're not just going to be better at eating protein when the time comes for you to eat protein on the road if you don't try to do it yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes me think of the interview with Bradley Martin and Nate Diaz. And
Yeah,
Bradley
bro, you think
Martin,
I could take you?
you're a
Hell
podcaster, brother.
no. Yeah.
It's great. But
Yeah,
yeah,
and he's not wrong. I mean, but if we take that same frame and we look at it for health, I mean, why would you expect that on the road you'd be able to get 150 grams of protein if you can't
mhm,
even hit that at home?
yeah.
If you don't have a system to hit it at home, what makes you think that going on the road is going to be easier?
Hmm. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. And I mean, like, it's also, and, we're both in the middle of a move too. So it's like that's another thing I think of is like how much harder it would have been to get stuff into this house
Mm-hmm.
if I didn't exercise. And it's kind of odd because I guess being a coach, you see this stuff a lot, just watching my friends who maybe don't exercise very often, how much strain they're putting on their back and things like that. And it's like just exercising regularly like I do, I've learned how to like brace my core or activate certain muscles in my legs or whatever, so that when I am picking up something heavy, I'm protecting the rest of my body, like my back from spasming, or
Mm-hmm.
my knees, or like you said, all your ligaments and stuff from like getting injured when you're picking up this heavy stuff. It's funny how like you know just how working out does kind of it helps with like literally every aspect around you, just keeping you safe and keeping you from getting hurt. Because I mean, it's like you could either never do anything about it and just continue to deal with back problems and knee problems and ankle problems and spend all this money at the doctor trying to get things fixed or get some sort of um, like pill to make the pain go away or whatever, when a lot of that stuff could have been fixed on the front end if we had just lifted something a little bit more, exercised a little bit more, got a little bit more resistance training in, or just moved a little bit more, you know.
Yeah, man. Common daily tasks that most of us are privileged enough that we don't have to do on a consistent basis, like move boxes and move couches. asking someone that doesn't lift or doesn't work out in the gym consistently to help you move is the worst idea you could ever have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Your couches will get dropped, shit will get ran into the wall, boxes will fall over, everything will break. And it's not to say that those people are less valuable to the world, because that's not what I'm saying. But I sure as hell ain't gonna pick them to help me move my fucking U-Haul into the house
Yeah.
because they can't do it.
Yeah.
You know, how many times are you picking up a box or two boxes full of books, or carrying your weights out of the U-Haul or out of your truck inside, and you know to retract and depress your shoulder blades, right? You
Yeah.
know to keep your chest up. You don't round the back. But if you've ever watched somebody that doesn't know what they're doing pick up a box and their back comes super cyan round, you know,
All
the other
spine.
directions. Yeah, dude, you're doing a Jefferson curl, but you've never gotten to those ranges
Yeah.
ever,
Yeah.
ever. And now this is the first time you're doing it when you're moving something in real life. Bad
Mm-hmm.
idea.
Mm-hmm.
Bad idea.
Yeah. And then that leads to doctor's appointments and surgeries and all that shit.
Oh, my low back hurts. Oh man, I can't walk. Oh man, my hips are too tight. And here
Yeah.
we go. Oh, I shouldn't work out. See, this sucks so bad. I shouldn't even do it. Like
Yeah.
using the negative downstream effects to reinforce not doing it even more is even worse.
Mm-hmm. That's a whole different beast you got to take.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, I think that capability is the direction that at least I try to push. Right. My in-person clients are all in their 40s, and everyone online with me is, you know, like late 20s to early 40s, but not really tons in the 40s. So I think that no matter who I'm communicating with, right, the goal is capability. The goal is more space or more weight in space in time safely, right, to the level that you want to get to. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, Samantha wants to be able to clean and jerk 300 pounds, but I told her that's probably not going to happen unless you sacrifice on a couple other things, right? That's a hell
Yeah.
of a lot of weight to be clean and jerking, weighing 128 pounds.
Right. Yeah.
That is a shit ton.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I think it comes down to what are you doing on a day to day consistent basis? And then also, can you set your sights on something that you can't see? Can you have faith that the journey that you're on, it'll work out if you keep hammering away and you have your goal set correctly? Because I think smaller space, lighter weight, just arbitrarily, they're the wrong goals.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, well, we'll wrap it there. We kind of went tangential, but we will catch y'all next time. That is the end of that episode. Thank y'all for listening. If you want to connect with Brett or I, our Facebook group is linked below. And then you feel free to hit us up on a DM if you want to. And if we can do anything for you, don't hesitate to reach out. We are happy to do it, paid or unpaid. So hope you have a great rest of your day, and we will see you next week.
Peace.